I'm having a second coffee at like 4:30 in the afternoon, because I deserve it. I worked hard playing video games all day, okay? I work hard. Hello there, it's me, Mary, or QuiteContraryTV. I just finished playing Stray Gods, the role-playing musical, and this is a spoiler-free review. Stray Gods is a visual novel role-playing game where you play as Grace, a young woman struggling with feeling directionless in life until a direction falls into her lap. Kind of literally. Grace meets a woman named Calliope, who turns out to be a muse of Greek mythology fame. Grace only finds this out after Calliope is murdered and passes her muse power on to Grace. And other Greek gods, called idols these days, accuse Grace of the murder. Grace has 1 week to prove her innocence, all while meeting various idols and trying to adjust to this new, magical, mythical world into which she's been thrown. So what is Grace's inherited muse ability? Like Sweets in the Buffy musical, she can influence those around her to share their true thoughts and feelings by bursting into song. And that's where the musical part of this role-playing musical comes into play. Stray Gods is the first game created by Australian indie game developers Sumerfall Studios, who then partnered with publishers Humble Games. I have been following the production of Stray Gods for a while now. As a fan of narrative and character and choice-driven video games and musicals, I was sold from the get-go. I was also admittedly a touch skeptical. A musical game is ambitious enough on its own, but a game where not just the story changes based on your choices, but the songs as well, I wasn't sure how they were going to pull this off. I am happy to say that I thoroughly enjoyed my first playthrough, and even before it was done, had thoughts on what I would do differently on my second and third go-around. The gameplay is, I think, pretty standard visual novel stuff, though take this with a grain of salt because I haven't actually played a lot of visual novels. That hasn't been because I've been actively avoiding them or anything, I just haven't come across that many. So, maybe recommend your favorites to me in the comments. Most of the gameplay happens during dialogue. As Grace talks with various characters, you choose how she responds. During songs, you choose what Grace sings or how she influences others to sing using her powers. Grace also has 3 conversation styles with which she can persuade people: kick-ass, charming, or clever, and you must commit to one style near the start of the game, with potential to add another style later. The ones you don't choose will be locked to you. The kick-ass style is more aggressive, the charming style is exactly as it sounds, it's charming, and the clever style allows you to figure things out or notice when you're missing something and persuade people that way. You also have a journal that documents each character and what Grace knows about them. This helps you keep track of what information you've learned and also how your choices have affected Grace's relationship with other characters and sometimes those characters' relationships with each other. You have a map that you are taken to between scenes that lets you choose which avenue of investigation you wish to pursue next, as well as lets you check in on characters as you get to know them. It's simple, but it doesn't need to be more than that. The story is a pretty standard murder mystery, but I had a lot of fun predicting where things would go and generally found the reveals to be pretty satisfying, if not that shocking. The characters are also fun, and the game does a good job of using archetypes to quickly establish them all. The idols are initially more or less what you'd expect given their Greek god origins, with a couple of minor twists here and there, but I found that gave us as the player more time to get to know them better. When talking to characters, you can stick to business and interrogate them about Calliope's death. Solving her murder is your main goal after all, but you can choose to talk to them more about themselves as well. I checked in with characters frequently, and because we didn't need a lot of time to establish the core of their characters, that gave this short game more time to spend on their wants and goals and quirks and personalities. We have a lot of plot and world building to get through, so that kind of efficient character building was important to pull off. The choices feel impactful, and I am very curious how the game will change on my future playthroughs. I suspect some of the bigger plot moments and even the game's ending will shake out more or less the same, but Grace's relationships with other characters seemed really dependent on how you interacted not just with them, but with other characters in the game. For example, at one point I sided with one character in a fight that locked me out of conversations with another character for a good chunk of the game. Not all of these decisions are easy either. The idols have a lot of history, both personally and with each other, that makes several of these decisions feel very complex. There's one particular choice that greatly affects a secondary character's development that I definitely can't talk about because of major spoilers, but I'm going to be thinking about it for a long while. If you've played the game, you can probably guess the one. Visually, this game is stunning. I love the art style, and I really love the art direction. Every frame is vibrant and beautiful, each setting complementing the characters you find there, and each character design design sleek and memorable. Everyone is so dang stylish. I want all of these outfits. Unfortunately, the one part of this game that didn't always land for me was the musical part. That is not to say that the music was bad by any means, and the way it was incorporated with Grace's power always felt very organic. It's just the songs themselves were a bit hit or miss. When they hit, they really hit, but I found that few of the songs had easily hummable tunes, at least the versions I got. More on that in a sec. There was also a strong reliance on what I'll call musical crosstalk, where multiple characters sang their own respective melody lines and lyrics all at once. Don't get me wrong, that is a very musical theater thing to do. Confrontation from Les Mis is one of my favorites, but it happened often enough in Stray Gods that it lost its impact and came across as muddled or overwhelming at times. The songs were at their strongest when they were solos or straightforward duets or musical banter. That said, I found the choice mechanics in the songs very satisfying. I've played games with timed decisions before, but something about those timed decisions happening as a song builds made them feel more intense and with higher stakes. The biggest decisions do tend to happen during songs, so it comes by some of those feelings honestly, but still. I also played the demo when it came out. I streamed it, so you can check out the VOD on my QuiteContraryTV YouTube channel, and the second song in the demo turned out very different for me when I made different choices in my first proper playthrough. Like, different enough that I could see myself liking some of the different versions of songs that I bounced off of the first time around. Even if I don't, it's very, very cool. The performances all hit though. Everyone's singing and acting is on point. It almost goes without saying given that the talent of this cast is very well known, but everyone brought their A game to this, well, game. Finally, my favorite part of this game was the world building. I don't want to give too much away, but the way the idols exist makes their relationship to their immortality very, very interesting. I am always fascinated by questions of identity, of what makes us who we are, so there is some stuff in this game that I found extremely cool. I hope this has given you an idea of whether or not Stray Gods is a game for you. It certainly was for me, and I really do look forward to my future playthroughs. I did record my whole first playthrough, so if there's interest in that, it may become available to watch at some time in the future. In the meantime, Stray Gods is available for you to buy right now on Steam, Xbox, PlayStation, GOG, Humble Store, and Epic. So yeah, thank you for watching and happy gaming! I gotta say thank you so much to Summerfall Studios and Humble Games for giving me a review copy of this game. Yeah, I loved it, and I can't wait to see what you guys put out next. Thank you, thank you, thank you.